Hi, welcome back to Therapy Designs. If you're new to this channel, my name is Kelly, and this channel is all about creating print-on-demand designs using Canva. So if that is something that you're interested in, please hit like and subscribe and stick around. So in today's video, I'm going to go over how to create this design right here. It's a pretty simple one. Honestly, the most time is just trying to, select your font, select your flourishes, and sort of play around with the layout. But otherwise, it's a pretty simple one, but really popular. Oops, sorry, I made a sale. So if you'd like to learn how you can do this, just go ahead and stick around. So here I am on Canva's home page, and I'm going to be creating a Christmas design here. So the first thing I'm going to do is go up to the top right-hand corner of the page where it says custom size. I'm going to click on that. And then I'm going to be selecting 4500 by 5400 pixels. And it's going to pull up a blank page, looks just like this. Now from here, I'm going to be designing for black today. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on my blank canvas, go to the top left-hand corner where it says background color, and I'll be selecting black. So now this is going to be a pretty simple design. It's going to just use some text, a couple easy graphics, and then we'll put a clipping mask over it. So it should be simple but unique and creative. What we're going to put on here is going to be something that says, I run on coffee and Christmas cheer. So the first thing I'm going to do is just pull up a text box by hitting T on my keyboard. And so my very first line is going to say, I run on. And so that is going to be my top line. And I am going to be bringing it somewhere up here. The next line, I'm going to hit T on my keyboard again, and this one's going to say coffee. Perfect. I'm going to hit T one more time. This time I'm just going to do a little and symbol. So there we go, and that's going to go someplace here. One more line here. This one's going to say Christmas. Perfect. And then I'll have one more line down at the bottom here, and this one will say cheer. And I might even make that C here capital. There we go. So that's the basic part of the design. So what we're going to have to do to make this creative is obviously select some fun fonts. I might do a couple of text effects, whether it's curving the font or angling it, and then we'll throw a couple graphics in just to fill the whole page. So this should be big. I do want it to kind of fill the entire page. So I've already looked through a lot of fonts that I like. I know there's a lot of fun Christmassy fonts out there. So the first one I've decided to do is a font, and I happen to know the name of it, and it is Limit Corner. And it is right here. And I liked it because it had some of those nice big uppercase letters. So I'm going to do that right there. So the next font I was going to do right here, I was going to make this more of a script style font. And the one that I was doing for this was going to be a Christmassy script one. It is called Starlight of Christmas. Now, some of these, I will admit, I did download from Creative Fabrica. All the fonts that I've gotten from Creative Fabrica have been free, so I've downloaded them for free and uploaded them onto Canva. So you do have to have Canva Pro to upload the fonts to your brand kit. But in terms of getting the fonts off of Creative Fabrica, they were totally free. And so there's always lots of fun fonts that I can find there. Next one I was going to use, this one was also going to be Starlight of Christmas, and in fact I think I was gonna do coffee. I think I was gonna do a different one here for this one. I was gonna make this one actually one called Disney. There we go, Disney regular. There we go, I like that better. There's a lot of fun script fonts, and so if you're looking for a font to use, you can come up here, you can do a search at the top here, so you can already see there's different searches for handwriting, corporate, display. You can type those in here too, so you can type in script, you could type in Christmas, you could type in, bold or narrow. So you can definitely go ahead and look through all of the different fonts. There are just tons and tons of fonts out there, tons already on Canva, and then tons more on Creative Fabrica that you could then put onto Canva. So there's a lot to choose from. And so going through and finding the fonts you want really will make this design. So the next line I was going to do here, this was also a Christmas font that I did get from Creative Fabrica. This one is called Christmas Kindness. And it is this one right here. It gives a nice, fun, Christmassy look there. And then the last one here, this one's going to be Starlight again. Starlight of Christmas again. Good. So now I've got pretty much what I want in terms of fonts. And now I just have to kind of arrange these so that they're going to look good in the page. So I'm going to make them all a lot bigger, obviously. And then I'm going to start doing a little bit of design work. So the first one I'm going to do, I'm just going to go ahead and put a little curve on it. So I'm going to go up to Effects. I'm going to come down here to where it says Curve. And it's going to curve it, and I can kind of control how much or how little it curves. So I don't want it to be a very tight curve. I want it to be pretty, you know, mild, just enough that it's something that's a little different and interesting. Something like that will do. And then I was going to go ahead and put coffee here. And again, I want coffee to fill the space kind of nicely, something like that. I was going to throw the and somewhere here. Christmas, I think I might even angle just a little bit. So maybe something like that. And even cheer, depending on how I want to do it, I might angle that one a little bit too. Something like that. So that's my basic shape. Now I'm going to be filling this in with graphics and other things to make it all flow. So that's just kind of basically what I want. So now I'm going to find some fun Christmas graphics, and this is all going to be done silhouette style. I am thinking of putting a clipping mask on this, something really simple, but just to kind of make it pop a little bit. So Christmassy stuff. First thing I want is, well, coffee. I do need a coffee element. So I'm going to go to the left-hand side on the tab that says Element. I'm going to click that, and I'm just going to go ahead and search for coffee. And I'm going to be looking under graphics. And I'm honestly looking for something similar to this. In fact, this one here looks pretty good for what I want. I'm going to change the color up here to white. There we go. Oops. Let's see if I can click it. By the way, if it goes behind, you can switch through your layers by hitting Control, and the left bracket will send something to the back. So if I want to send coffee to the back, just keep hitting Control left bracket until the coffee is in front. I know it's hard to tell on these silhouette styles what's in front and what's in back. So it's just going to kind of come down to a little bit of what you try to click on it. And if that doesn't work, move something to the back. Here we go. So, something there-ish. I might even bring that coffee over down just a little bit so I've got room for this, and I can play with the size and spacing and all of that later. Here is my and so that looks pretty cool. And then I was going to go ahead, maybe a little Christmas tree, maybe a reindeer. So I can do just a general search and go with Christmas here in my elements and see what comes up. That'll sometimes give you some good ideas, and then from there you can filter your search a little bit more narrow. I like the idea of a tree similar to this one. Here we go. Just something similar like to this. That could go like in the corner, maybe not this one exactly, but similar in style. So something like that would look good in the bottom, so I can keep looking. There's obviously some reindeer, some snowflakes might look good. And so you can just look through here and get some ideas of things you might like. Holly might be a good one. Again, lots of snowflakes. If you know what you want, then you can just go ahead and narrow that search down. So I like the idea of the Christmas tree. I don't necessarily like this one, so I can narrow the search down and just put Christmas tree. And so you can find that one, and then there's a few more, and I'm just looking for sort of that white style. That one's kind of cute, cute one there. And so you can see lots of different ones. I kind of like a little less that one, maybe even more this one here. I know there's a bunch of different styles of these, but it just sort of has that abstract look that I think would go good with the design. So something like that looks pretty nice. And there's several of those if you keep looking that you can find. Here's another cool one that has just sort of more of the spiral. I like the spiral. Anything else? Here's another cool one. So you can just keep looking. I'll just go with this one for now because it's simple. It looks like it goes a little bit with the coffee, so I'm gonna stick with it. Well, let's go one more. I think I was gonna go with a reindeer right here, and something simple like one of these reindeers. So this one or this one, just a reindeer leaping, I think was going to look pretty good. So if I take, let's say, this reindeer, make it white so I can see it. I can always flip it around, so if I want it to face the other direction, I can come up to the top where it says flip. If I click there, I can then flip vertically or horizontal. I'm going to flip horizontal. And then what I can do is take this reindeer, if I can grab it. Again, I might have to push cheer to the back so that I can grab hold of my reindeer, and it might look good like there, kind of on the corner of the page. Depends on kind of what size I want to make everything, and that looks pretty cool. So I also think that some flourishes might be good, maybe some snowflakes or just some flourishy lines. So let's just go ahead. I'm going to put flourish and see what comes up. And so you can see all these fun lines here. And so you can pick any of the decorative style lines that you want. Something simple that looks like it goes with the design, but you can see lots of different styles. Like there's a cool one, here's a cool one. And so you can just start playing with some of these. So for example, if I was to take this one, make it white, and then I could go ahead, I could shrink it down, I can put it, you know, kind of wherever I want. I can angle it maybe. So if I wanted to do, you know, something here like that, I could add a flourish that way. I can again always flip them. So if I flipped it vertically, I could have the kind of spirals going the other way, and that might look like it goes better. Again, maybe angle it a little bit more or a little bit less depending on where I place it. So here's where you just sort of play. And I mean, something like that is pretty easy to do. And if you're just playing with your placement, again, you can use the arrows on your keyboard to move any of these graphics 1 pixel at a time. So you can make some really small micro adjustments just by hitting up, down, left, right arrows on your keyboard to sort of play with that. So you can do, you know, some kind of swirl like that. There's a lot of different swirls. So keep looking. Again, pull up a bunch and play with them and kind of see which ones look best for your design. You just kind of want to fill the space. So you're playing with what you think may fill your space the best. Again, try to keep them all pretty uniform. So if you go with really thin ones, you don't then want to go with really thick ones or vice versa. So you want to kind of try to keep everything pretty uniform in terms of the thickness of the line and in terms of the style of the line. If it's got some real sharp edges versus curved edges, if it's got more like ornamental flower stuff on it versus if it's just lines. So try to keep that in mind when you're kind of just selecting the lines that you like. And there's always a whole bunch that you can go with. Some are a little bit more curvy and curly. Here's another different one that kind of looks cool. Something here, I could kind of curve it to go with the Christmas. And I can play with the size and the spacing of that. So just lots of different ways that we can play with things. So after playing for a while and just looking at some of the different flourishes and options, this is what I came up with. It's a little busy, but not too busy. I didn't want to, you know, make it so busy that you wouldn't be able to read it. but you know, it has that fun Christmassy vibe. Now, I could just leave it like this and have it just be an all white design, and that by itself would be fine. I could change some of the colors of some of the elements here just to have different color design, and that would be fine. I could put a clipping mask over it, which is what I'm gonna do, and that would be fine. Or I could make all three versions and upload all three. It just depends how many slots you have available to fill. If you're, say, on Merch by Amazon and you've got a ton of slots to fill, you might as well put up multiple versions of the same design, because some people might like it better in white, some people might like it better with multicolors, and so there's no reason that you couldn't make multiple versions of the same design just by changing some of the colors. So for this one, I'm gonna put up here, I'm just gonna put Coffee and Christmas. And this is just I'm gonna put white, and then I'm gonna put frame, and I will just download this. So I'm gonna go up to share. I'm gonna go down to where it says downloads. It's a PNG. I'm leaving the size alone, by the way. The size says 1, and it's 4500 by 5400 pixels. If you wanted this bigger, like to put on a blanket or a flag or something that's going to be printing really big, all you'd have to do is slide this up, and 1.25, 1.5, that's going to make the size a lot bigger. So that's how you could print this on something larger. But for a t-shirt, this size works fine. This is what I use, so anybody who's had questions about the size is perfectly fine like this. I'm going to have a transparent background here, and then I'm just going to go ahead and download this. Now, the downloaded white version, this would be ready to go by itself on a shirt. So if you just want a white one, there you go. It's done. I'm going to go ahead and try it maybe with a gold clipping mask or a silver clipping mask, something that's going to make it a little bit more fun than white, but I'm going to keep it all one color here. So I'm going to go up to elements on the left, and I'm just going to search for gold. And right now I'm on graphics. I'm gonna go to photos. And so you can see there's a lot of just fun, solid gold looking textures or whatnot. And so you could pick any of these that might look good. Here's kind of a sparkly one. It kind of is out of focus and then in focus. I don't like that because I want it all to be pretty uniform. So lots of ways I could go with this. Here's another gold one here. And of course I could, you know, put it vertical like this and have it cover the whole page, and then that would make for a good, you know, gold mask there. So I could do something like that. Right now it's not totally vertical. There you go. So that might make for a fun gold mask. And if I thought it was too dark, I can always go to where it says edit photo up here. I can go to the adjust, and I can go ahead and make that a little bit brighter if I want to, you know, so I can play with the brightness, I can play with the vibrance, the saturation, all of that stuff until I'm happy with the way that it looks. I am pretty happy with it. I just wanted it to be a little bit lighter, but there you go, that's nothing too bad. And so you can also hear some silver ones. So depending on kind of what color you want to go with, I'm gonna go ahead and stick with this, and I'm just gonna call this a gold mask. Oops. And I'm gonna download my gold mask here. So I'm just gonna go back up to share, back to download. Everything's the same. I don't need a transparent background, so I can just hit download, and I'm gonna have this gold mask to put over my design. Give that one a second. Here we go. Once I have that downloaded, the fastest, easiest, and freest way to create a clipping mask is just to jump over to Photopea. So if you haven't seen this before, I do this a lot. So photopea.com, this will come up. You don't have to do anything. Just hit open from computer in the middle. It's going to pull up your downloads, and from there you can select your frame. And if you give it a second, it's going to pull up your frame right here. And so your frame should be right there. And now to put the mask on, we're just going to go back up to the left-hand corner where it says File, 3 spaces down. You'll hit Open in Place. That's going to pull up your downloads again, and this time you can select your mask. And give it a second. It should put your mask right over the top. So this is what it should look like. Mask on the top. If you see your layers over here, the mask is on the top. Your frame is on the bottom, and the mask is the one that's highlighted. If that's all true, then this should be really easy. Go to the top again where it says Layer. About halfway down, you'll see something that says Clipping Mask. You click that, and it should automatically do all the work for you. And there you go. You should have your clipping mask. It really should be that fast and that easy, and you should be able to do this as many times as you like. So if you're having problems, something's not right. I'm going to go up to the left-hand corner now where it says File. About halfway down, you're going to see Export As. You're going to see PNG. You can click that. If you give it a second, a box is going to pop up. There it is. You can retitle it here if you want to. It's still a PNG, still 4500 by 5400 pixels. Quality, you usually leave this alone. Sometimes if you've got a really detailed image like a photo, it may end up being too big to then upload back to Canva. If that's the case that it's too big, all you got to do is drop that down just a little bit, anywhere between 90 and 100. I usually, if I drop it down to like 90, 92, I've never had a problem even with the biggest pictures, but I'm just going to go ahead and hit save there. And then I can jump right back over to Canva. So here I am back on Canva. I can get rid of that. I'm going to keep this version, so I'm just going to go add a page and create another page. Then I'm going to go over to the left-hand side where it says Uploads. I'm going to click there. I will hit Upload Files. It'll pull up your downloads one more time. You can click the one that you just made. Once it's uploaded, you can just click that, close here, and there is your design. And so, boom. And I can resize it or do whatever I want with it here. If I feel like it's still a little bit too dark, maybe I don't think it's going to pop as well as I'd like, you know, no problem. I can still lighten it up more. So I can still go to Edit Photo, I can still go to Adjust, and I can still play with things like the brightness and try to make it a little bit brighter there. So something like that, and it's really going to give the contrast, which is kind of cool because it gives it that little bit of a gradient overall. And so that's kind of fun. I could, again, try to play with the contrast some more, up or down, to try to change how that looks. Maybe if I go down just a smidge, it keeps everything a little bit lighter. So something there, and that looks pretty good. And so that's one I could keep up. And I could do this in red, or I could do this in green. I could do this, you know, however I wanted. This looks pretty cool as it is. So this would look good again on black. It would also look good on like a dark hunter green, a dark deep red, a dark gray, a navy blue. So any of the darker colors, which tend to be the ones that sell the most anyways. And so that's going to work really well. I can save this now, and I can just put, I'm going to put I run on coffee. I'm just going to title it gold. And then I'm going to hit share. I'm going to hit download. Again, I'm going to leave everything the same. It's a transparent background. When you have more than one page on your design, you just have to select the page that you want. So I just want page 2. I can hit done. And I can hit download, and that is all there is to it. You can now put it on a shirt or a sweatshirt or whatever it is you want to put on it or put it on. It would actually probably look good, honestly, on a Christmas card or anything else, or even on a flag might look cool. So there's a lot of different options you have with this. It's really simple to do. It just takes a lot of playing with to get the design the way that you like it. So I mean, you could spend an hour sitting there playing with fonts and playing with flourishes and playing with, you know, whatever effects you want. Just remember, at the end of the day, time is money. So you don't want to spend so much time on it that, you know, you only get one sale and it wasn't worth your time. You also don't want to spend so little time on it that it's not very good, because then, you know, nobody's going to want to buy it if it's not very good. So you do want to have a really good base, and then from that really good base you can make lots of different versions of it. You can change things here and there, but you know, take your time to make sure that you get a good design, something that you're happy with. If you have any questions about this, drop it in the comments section below. I try to get back to everybody as quickly as I can. If you have any video suggestions, you can drop that in the comments section below. I'll try to get you added onto my list, though I do have a few more weeks of Christmas designs coming up. So you can look forward to that. Make sure that you're still designing for other things other than Christmas, because there's a lot going on in Q4, and of course you do want to get everything up as quickly as possible. So with that, I hope your sales are doing well, and I hope to see you guys again. That's it for today's video. If you found that useful and would like to see more videos with helpful tips and tricks, be sure to hit like and subscribe, and turn on your notifications so you don't miss any of the weekly videos. As always, keep growing and stay creative, and we'll see you next time.